Namaste, angels. This is the weekly general reading for the period of tomorrow, Sunday, July 18th through Saturday to come, July 24th. We begin with the dice and email, buy shoes, and stay in bed. And Spirit says, massage, still email, and 29, spiritual partnership. Could be work partnership, doesn't have to be romantic, could be friendship, family, or something like that. Today actually is, well, it's one of my best friend's birthdays from high school. So I have to contact her. It is also in this, on this journey, in this sort of soul cipher, a day that tends to be attributed to Lilith and her hijinks. But today, this year, on this day, there's so much positive that's happening. I think she's been sort of washed away this year. You know, like she's not astrologically, she's not dominant in terms of other things that are happening. And let me just be more clear by telling you what else is going on today, the 17th, the day on which I'm recording this video. Astrologically, they're just like these really cool alignments, so to speak, that are happening today that will make the energy too positive, I think, for her to prevail today. So, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing the reading today. It is, for the most part, or I guess the largest aspect of it would be the fact that Jupiter is moving through Pisces, which for me and my fellow Geminis is our 10th house of career goals and professional success. So it's a good day for me to be doing my, work, for one thing. And, throughout the day, he'll also, he as in Jupiter, will also like come into contact with the moon, which is currently located in Scorpio. Which again for us Geminis is our 6th house of work and routine. So we've got our 10th house of career goals and professional success, and then we have our 6th house of work and routine also being, sort of activated in a positive way. And on top of that, the sun, of course, is in Cancer, which is our 2nd house of earned income. So, and material success, material goods. So under this kind of alignment, I just feel like we should, definitely be feeling good. And you might say, well, that's for Geminis. But no, the Jupiter aspect of it, and even the moon, I think the day is positive for all signs. You just have to look and see in what house the Scorpio moon is for you, in what house the Cancer sun is for you, and in what house Pisces, again, where Jupiter is located, the planet of growth, expansion, luck, all these positive energies. Where is that Jupiter for you? Well, it's in Pisces, but in what house is, Pisces? What house does Pisces represent in your chart, or for your sign? And yeah. I apologize, forgot to silence my phone and tablet. I'll try to reach down and click that off so that it's not ringing or anything during the reading. What else did I want to tell you? So that's the astrological part, which again, is probably the biggest part. So you don't have funky Lilith, in terms of astrology, getting in the way of any of this, whereas the past several years she has been. Beginning with probably what was the worst for many, speaking of Scorpio, was probably that Lilith in Scorpio. I think that was around 2016. I could be wrong, but yeah, there was one year where it was just really, really bad. 2016, 2017. Anyway, this year it's good. And another reason why I think that is because today is also the Hajj, in Muslim or Islam tradition. And think something else positive was today, other than it being one of my best friend's birthdays. Yeah, one of my oldest friend's birthdays and best friend's birthdays. Something else positive was happening today. I don't recall what it is. Something else positive is happening this week also. So yesterday, the 16th, was one of Mary's feast days, and historically that feast day, it had originally been on the 17th, and it was moved to the 16th to sort of, I think, get away from the Lilith anyway. And anyway, 16th is a more appropriate date, because then for her, it's 7/7. 7 means God. But speaking of Mary, or Mary's, Mary Magdalene has a feast day this week, and not unlike Mary, Mother of God, it is a 22 or 13 or 4 or 11/11 on which it falls, 7/22, which of course together also equals 11. So that's positive for this week too. We'll get into all those things afterwards. I just wanted to tell you the kind of energy we were starting with. That despite the fact that today is the 17th, it should be a good day from what I pick up and what I understand about the way astrology works. The cards are beginning with the 3 of Pentacles in the Rider-Waite deck. 3 of Pentacles. So speaking of work, which this certainly may be showing up for with regard to the Geminis, you probably have a lot going on with work, and as long as you continue to do your best work, put your best foot forward, and not start slacking off, it should really start paying off for you. In terms of love, it's a really positive omen. If you're already in a relationship, for growth and expansion in that relationship, I guess Jupiter will also touch it. But in terms of singles, this could be about meeting somebody and them having some sort of connection to your work or through your work, the way that you meet them. Death, with regard to work, can mean that there maybe is something going on there, and that's giving you feelings of, I don't want to be here anymore. So to look at them together, for example, and say well, this is going on in my job, I don't want to be here anymore. Maybe it's that you're putting so much effort and work into it and you feel like it's going unnoticed. And again, the 3 of Pentacles would say that's actually not the case. You are noticed and it's about to pay you off. So don't get to feeling like this and let that allow you to cause you to slack off, because that would be bad. In terms of love, death can be about the need to let go of someone, maybe a particular relationship or a particular person, or aspects of the relationship with them, or difficulties that you had. Sometimes we hold on to, well, you did this to me 10 years ago, you did that to me 10 years ago. And if you really want the relationship to grow and to have a chance of surviving and not remaining stuck, where it is now, or even in the past, 10 years ago, then you need to let go of, that aspect of the relationship, or that thing, those negative emotions that you as an individual are holding on to as it relates to the relationship, or this could be with regard to the other person. They need to do this in order for your relationship to succeed. And again, in that case, it may be specifically a relationship that was made, in connection to your work or through your work or something, but not necessarily. Maybe an earth sign is involved, and even more strongly, maybe a Scorpio is involved. Or this can also be about what I just talked about, the fact that the moon is in Scorpio today, which I'm doing this reading, and work is coming into play very strongly, especially for us Geminis. Next card is also in reverse. It can be about the need for a break, to recover yourself and get back out there and continue your fight. You're a soldier, not to just fall on your sword and sacrifice yourself by pushing yourself too hard. Especially if you're tired and you need a rest, you need a break, you need some time out, you need to think, whatever the case is. It's preparing yourself, readying yourself to be able to take up your sword again and get back out there. This sort of Ace of Swords. connection to these, again, it can be like somebody wanting to leave or take a break from their job because they just feel unfulfilled there. A vacation is probably okay if you can, or even a day or a few hours off if you're able to do that. Unless you're a Gemini, again, and you're talking about today. Today is a day that we need to be working. We have all those things in different houses that are in our work, sector, so to speak. So today is a good day for us to be working. But if it's any other day for a Gemini this week, or if it's any other sign, if you're able to take some time off, maybe to regroup and stuff, so that you can get over these feelings of, I'm so sick of this, I don't want to be here anymore, and be able to continue to produce the kind of work you've been producing so that you keep your job. Again, you're in for some sort of promotion, raise, bonus, recognition, something, according to this Three of Pentacles in reverse. Next card is also in reverse. Maybe this is going to go on just all day. It's the Six of Swords. Six of Swords can be about like movement and transition and things going forward, getting better, especially if it's upright. It's one of these cards that tends to mean pretty much the same thing if it's upright and then or in reverse for the most part. But you see the way the boat now is like going back toward the swords. For work, it can mean that, like, again, there's some sort of trouble brewing there at the office that you may or may not want to deal with. And in love, it can also be about that, like this is something that you've been ignoring and it's time for it to come up for you to deal with. Now, it can be also, I'm getting a relationship that has been already on a break. And if you're ever going to be able to let go of what caused the break or the hurt that's occurred as a result of the break or during the time of the break, you're ever going to, fix that in any kind of way, even just to be friends again. And again, this person may have been your friend, may have been a coworker or something like that. Only way you're going to fix that is by going back, so to speak, and dealing with these issues. Okay, so this is as it relates to love, the Six of Swords. Dealing with some issues that you may have been just sweeping under the rug and ignoring for some time, if you want to heal a relationship or, heal your own emotions as it relates to that relationship. That doesn't have to mean like fights or arguments or anything, especially if you, do your best to be swords-like, maybe particularly King of Swords-like, or Queen of Swords-like, to communicate, just like clearly, calmly, effectively, and getting the point across without, screaming and get emotional. Yeah, it's definitely about saying what you mean and meaning what you say, and maybe even stopping to think before you speak, not so that you can like be careful in a way that it becomes fake and you're not saying what you need to say, but just so that you don't say anything that you don't really mean that you can't take back. Like, because that could just really do damage to the relationship you are likely trying to mend and or save. And lastly, for the Two of Swords, also in work, this is saying it's a time to be a team player and to be open to others at work, others and their ideas too. Even if you feel like your ideas and your way of doing things might be best, it's really just important to be a team player right now. And in terms of love, you could want to sort of force something or push something along. So maybe even in the conversation, like, or in terms of avoiding conversation, like, let's just not talk about this and keep pushing. And it's not the time to do that either, in a relationship. And or that may be what caused, the need for a break in the first place. Especially if you were dealing with somebody Scorpio-like that withdraws. So you're trying to force and push something, and they will, if they feel that sort of emotional like sense of being overwhelmed or attacked, they will withdraw, they will like shrink away, and so that can cause a break. So you want to avoid doing that. And the Queen of Swords actually in reverse is like, or can be like notorious for that, for, you know, pushing too hard or too fast, and you know, sometimes that can even be equated with like just loving too hard. You know, so you want to go all in, and maybe the other person isn't ready, and so that could have caused the break. The next card is upright. It's the Sun. So the Sun can be a positive card. It could be representative of Jupiter, particularly again today, the stuff that I talked about today, Jupiter being located or coming into a positive aspect with the Moon, which is located in Scorpio. Could be that, you know, happy outcome and positive things. Specific to love, the Sun can also be about the need for a break, whether that's together or, you know, one partner needing a break from the other. And funny enough, from the numerology deck, we're beginning with time out. So this could be talking about a break that's needed or a break that was had, you know, already. Again, depending upon how these cards are received or resonated with by, you know, different people. Yeah, this can be about, it feels sort of stronger as a need to pull away from something and take a time out. But that could be, you know, a couple too, or friends taking the time out. Doesn't have to mean by yourself also. And if you look at the colors, it can mean like a time out, a pause to think before you, like, look before you leap. Looking at the purple, it's very crown chakra. And the yellow is sort of solar plexus, so like your gut feeling. You got to maybe take a time out, a pause, to think logically, and also to pay attention to your intuition about something. And then with the next deck, we are starting with the Queen of Pentacles. She is thoughtful, caring, creative, and ingenious. You'll be given advice that's both practical and creative, and should be followed precisely. Focus only upon the positive in every situation or person. The Queen of Pentacles, we know, is somebody who is a nurturer and just really likes to sort of create a nest, a home for herself and loved ones. The next card is the also upright is the Eight of Cups. You feel that there's more to life than what you're living, so it's time to move on. You may be moving from a situation that isn't good for you, or perhaps you're being drawn to what would make you happy. Either way, you are in control. And the situation that you could be pulling away from is, again, that one that seems to be stuck in the past, where there's a need to talk, or, you know, and or let go and move beyond it. Eight of Cups. And the next card is also upright. It is Major Arcana card 7, the Chariot, which represents the sign of Cancer, where the Sun is currently located. You can successfully balance various or opposing energies at once through determination and focus. You've earned the rewards and recognition that you are receiving. And like, as I mentioned, this can definitely happen for somebody in their work sector, if you're able to keep up the good work and not allow like funky energy that may be around there at the time, you know, or right now at your job, cause you to slack off. The next card is the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups most directly represents the sign of Scorpio. She is compassionate, loving, giving, and psychic. Again, Scorpio, where the moon is located. This is a time of deep emotion, where the moon is located today. It won't be there all week. This is a time of deep emotions and heightened intuition that you can trust completely. Be mindful that you don't ignore your own needs while you're caring for others. So while you're being the Queen of Pentacles and nurturing everybody and fixing up a home for everybody and caring for others, don't forget you. You may be the one who needs a time out, perhaps. The next card is Death, but it is in reverse. Well, our death in this deck is in reverse too, so that may mean something, but I'm not gonna get into that Death card. Just know that Death in reverse showed up again, twice. Speaking of Ace, a new start, there's the Ace of Wands. Speaking of the King of Swords, there he is. We have Also the Five of Pentacles. Which demonstrates some sort of like feeling of lack, not necessarily actual lack, just feeling of being stuck, not really having options, and being like fear of lack, really, being afraid of not having. And from where am I going to get, you know, if I don't have? Now, our new overall energy here is the Nine of Pentacles, followed by the Eight of Pentacles. Upright. And the Knight of Swords. A Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Here we do have self-love that was just revealed to me. This could be tied to, you know, while you're nurturing others, don't forget you. While you're working on your environment, like the Queen of Pentacles, don't forget you. Karmic completion. We'll do one more. Spiritual partnership. Financial discipline is our new overall energy, followed by forgiveness, which is in reverse. Maybe you got to forgive somebody that, like, you know, fucked up the church's money, as they say, or your own money. You know, sometimes that happens. Oh, I'm not speaking to my sister. You know, loaned her some money this time and she ruined everything. Or, you know, she messed up our parents' money or our inheritance. Or, you know, not speaking to my brother. He uses all his money on liquor or drugs or whatever. And, you know, maybe something will come up with a relationship. Or a romantic partnership, you know. We broke up because one of us was working hard and nurturing, and one of us was wasting all the money, you know. Investing in get-rich-quick schemes or something like that. You guys know how these things can go. So I'm sure you get where I'm coming from. I don't think I mixed these here. Two of Cups is our new overall energy. Speaking of relationships with other people, you're falling in love or experiencing a deepening of emotion in your current relationship. Marriages or romantic partnerships in distress can also still be saged. Don't give up. And that is followed by the Page of Swords. She is logical, truthful, curious, and undiplomatic. Speaking of the Page of Swords or the sign of Gemini, we are also the North Node still currently. So there is some Gemini celestial or astrological aspect out there too. This is an intellectual challenge that calls upon your ability to think of a matching solution. If helpful information is put to you bluntly, accept the message without being bothered by the messenger. The Page of Swords is a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. It's followed by the Five of Swords. So again, you could say the wrong thing. You could say something harmful unnecessarily. This could be about gossip or foolishness. Or this can be about just feeling like conflicted, something going on in your mind. If it's not an actual conversation involving other people. Or it can be about conflict with others. Your current path isn't leading you toward the happiest possible outcome, so why not change it? Always maintain integrity and compassion, but be alert to the hidden agenda hidden agendas of others. This can also be about the conversation that some of us need to have with another party, you know, tied to the Six of Swords in reverse. We've got to start with the Five of Swords, the conflict. We've got something to talk about. And then, you know, we do that with the Six of Swords. We decide consciously to stop sweeping it under the rug and to actually deal with it. This is followed by the Queen of Wands. We also have Mercury, Gemini's ruler, which recently moved into Leo. That may be why this is showing up here. Queen of Wands is talented, brilliant, independent, and charming. Don't underestimate your ability to manifest your dreams. You may have several priorities vying for your attention at once, but you can do it. She is an Aries, Leo, a Sagittarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. But look what we have behind it. Major Arcana card 11, which most directly represents the sign of Leo specifically. So I think that's where she's coming from, or the energy from where she's coming. True strength is displayed through kindness, forgiveness, and compassion. You have tremendous personal power and courage. That's followed by the Seven of Swords. So if you're feeling like you don't have tremendous personal power and courage, you're lacking confidence or lacking trust in yourself or others, the way you can overcome that is with this strength and, you know, the confidence of the Queen of Swords. The Seven of Swords, so we've seen the 5, the 6, and the 7 today. Seven of Swords can also be about actual theft or loss of property. And look, we've got financial discipline that sort of fell away, you know, or the top part of the deck, revealing follow your dreams. And there's somewhat like opposites, like mirror opposites, like a pink card with a green interior and a greenish, you know, more like teal really, card with a pink interior. So it could be follow your dreams with regard to some sort of financial situation. All right, now from the Rider-Waite deck, the card that will most directly represent us all as a collective this week is the Five of Cups. Womp womp. So feelings of disappointment, pessimism, doubt, maybe in ourselves, or again, fear of loss, fear of lack, or maybe some sort of actual loss or lack that has us fearing further loss or lack, and not noticing what we do have and the ability to manifest that we still have, and the power of prayer and intention and all that kind of stuff. Surrounding energy, so something involving close friends, or the energy surrounding close friends, family members, co-workers, or situations, maybe at our place of employment, is the Wheel of Fortune upright. So that's Jupiter again. Work and finance specifically, the Emperor in reverse. Love and relationship, another Two of Cups. We have a Two of Cups. That's our overall energy in the Angel and Animal Tarots, which I have combined. It's 2 decks combined. And we have another Two of Cups in the placement of love and relationship. That's pretty cool. Physical health this week, the Page of Pentacles in reverse. And spiritual health this week, the Nine of Cups in reverse. And our overall energy is the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. Can we see all those? I think so. So starting with our overall energy of the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, it's a really good omen. There is a warning that we have to like pay at least some attention to being like disciplined, you know, sort of earth sign like, so I guess remaining somewhat grounded and not giving in too much to just pleasure and relaxation. So keeping some focus on work, again, like an earth sign would. I don't know how else to put it. There's a lot of wonderful things around us, though, this week, and a lot of wonderful things in our lives like to enjoy. But there also just has to be some effort made to keep these things going, or to keep things going in general, to keep life moving. So when we're guided not to just like sit around and rest on our, sit on our asses for too long, although we can afford maybe to take a little break to do that, or to take a break to have some fun also. It's kind of about balance in that way, in that sense. We have a lot to be proud of and hopeful about, but action on our part is still needed or necessary. So we just have to be sort of, clear and specific with ourselves at least as to what our goals and plans are, and just keep them, not too far in the back of our heads, sort of to the forefront. After I finish having this fun, I need to get back on top of, my next steps and whatever it is you're working on. You just have to know your part in bringing your goals and plans about, and not let it go by the wayside. If you aren't sure what it is that you need to do next, however, this guides you to think, to ask for advice, from someone you trust or something, and to also think positively and maybe clear your mind and sit with yourself for a while, like another Nine of Pentacles energy, the Hermit would do, and it may come to you. In terms of work, if you're looking for a new position, again, you have to be disciplined and sort of methodical in doing so. So, it's really about doing a job search, not just willy-nilly. And if you do so, appropriate, good, suitable, I don't know, whatever word you want to use, type of job for you may come your way. If you're currently employed, then it's about making sure that your employers are aware that you are, sort of keeping, I was going to say your head in the books, that's for school. For work, your nose to the grindstone, as they say, and you're not slacking off. You cannot afford to slack off now. So this is a similar warning to that which we got with the Three of Pentacles in reverse in that way. In terms of love and relationship, if you're looking, again, this is, a positive card for that sort of thing, but that you can't expect it to just happen. We are going to have to do our work in that regard too. We are going to have, action and intention on our part for it to happen. So we got to be willing to talk. We got to be willing to listen. We have to be willing to initiate something to a partner or prospect, right? Prospective partner or somebody, love interest or whatever. All right, I guess that's it for the Nine of Pentacles. So moving on to the Five of Cups, again, the card that will sort of most directly represent us and our energy over the week. It could be more exciting, but it's not. And this one basically just reminds us that where we put our focus in life has a great deal to do with the quality of our lives. So it's what are you focused on? You focused on the Three Cups that spilled over, or you focused on the two that are standing up? And it's funny, we have bookends here. So the card that we're starting out with has these three cards that have fallen over and the two that are standing up. And then here, on the other side, we have the two that are standing up. So this could be telling us in another way too, that our focus this week should be on our love life, our relationships, our romantic relationships, or the fact that we don't have one and whether or not we want one. And if so, what are the next steps we need to take in order to get one? That may be specifically the focus. But we're going back to the general meaning of the Five of Cups. What are you going to choose to focus on is a question that it asks, and that will sort of dictate where, the direction your life takes, at least this week. The implication of the spilled cups or, spilled milk is pretty clear. Are you going to just stand around and cry over spilled milk? Or are you going to do something with or about the two that you have that are, two cups of milk that you have that are not spilled, that are perhaps filled to the top? Where you put your focus, again, can dictate the direction that you take overall. In terms of work, if you're looking for work, try not to get too upset if there are delays, worked up about it. Things with resumes and applications could be moving slowly. It's important again for you to be proactive, but not pushy. So again, think of doing too much, like the Queen of Swords maybe when she's in reverse. Can also be, if you're already working, a signal that you are in the wrong job. So you may want to consider what you would like to be or what you would like to be doing instead of what you're doing, and then maybe take steps toward making that happen. But again, it's a plan. This is not you walking into your office tomorrow necessarily and quitting, you know. Did we do love? No, I don't think we did. With love, a relationship may have just ended or be in the process of ending. You may feel like it's over. It's important just to realize, again, 2 cups are standing up, 3 is spilled over. All is not lost. I still got 2 cups left, whatever that means or represents in your life. You're probably not ready to move into a new relationship if you're experiencing 5 of cups type of energy in your love life. So give yourself some time and space. Maybe this is, again, another area where the timeout card is coming, or where the 4 of Swords is coming and saying you need a break, you need to restore yourself. Right, and so go ahead and do that before, and then get back out there. There definitely will come a day when you'll realize that the reason, whatever the reason this relationship ended, whatever the reason was, it was to get you into a new place, and maybe the place where you really should be, want to be, both, which is in a relationship that works for you and works well. For others of us, this can be sort of reminding us or showing us from where we started. And because we did move through that energy and sort of, lose the 3 cups, which was maybe the relationship that wasn't appropriate for us. Maybe it was a party of 3, whatever reason it wasn't appropriate. And now, this is what we're experiencing because we lived through this. So we could just sort of be looking back on, last year or last week, last month, whatever. I was in that really crappy space and energy because of, I was focused on the wrong things in terms of my love life. And now look at me, a relationship with balance and reciprocity and whatever. All right, so moving on to the Wheel of Fortune. And this one, again, the placement is, again, like surrounding energy, close friends, family members, co-workers, and such. This card, the greatest message of this card is like, this too shall pass. And basically it means that what goes up must come down, or if you find yourself suddenly sitting on top of the world, you still got to keep in perspective that, just like everything else, that is likely to change, right? Nothing stays the same in life. So it's important that we live in the now and count our blessings, so it could definitely be tied to the card that represents us too. Like maybe your family is going through something. Maybe your family experienced a loss, or your group of friends or whatever experienced some sort of loss or lull or downturn. Maybe it's talking about speaking to the larger, planet, the earth, the country, the world, whatever, took a downturn, the globe, and in some places is still taking one. But what do we have that's good? How can we celebrate and live in the now? How can we show thanks, give thanks for what we do have that's working? So that's going to be the biggest message of this card, particularly, well, I was going to say particularly in this placement, but in any placement, that's going to be the biggest message of this card. In terms of work, again, it's possible that you'll decide to leave your job, or so somebody close to you could decide to leave their job, and maybe that will affect you. But they're being called to follow their dream. Remember financial discipline and follow your dreams? It's funny how these things happen, in the readings. Yeah, but that could be exactly what's happening. Somebody's being called to follow their dream. So maybe they have to practice some sort of financial discipline. Like we gotta tighten up our purse strings in the meantime, because I'm quitting my job, or I'm cutting back hours so I can moonlight at another job or start my own business or whatever the case is. So we got to be careful with the money that we have, and maybe it is shared money or something. I think the Cancer, it's earned income, material wealth, and other people's money. Is that what that house rules? Now that I think about it, so that could really, again, be tying these 2 cards in together. Let's move on to the Emperor and see what's up with work from his perspective. This card in that area shows that, again, you're likely to be appreciated in your workplace and should be feeling I was looking at the Two of Cups and attempting to talk about the Emperor. That didn't work because I'm giving you the meaning in terms of the Two of Cups. It's like I heard myself and I'm like, that's not right. What are you talking about? Okay, the Emperor, first and foremost, represents the planet Mars, which, as I mentioned, I think is currently located in the sign of Leo. That may mean something for some of us. No, Mercury is located in Leo. I think Mars left Leo. No, I think Mars is in Leo. Mercury's in Leo too, but I think Mars is there as well. So I'm going to go with that. Mars is currently located in Leo, and that may mean something for somebody. I don't know why this card is tripping me up so. But in addition to that, and the fact that it may be tied to the Queen of Wands that we saw, the Ace of Wands that we saw, the Strength card that we saw. The planet Mars is also the planet of action. Remember, I keep saying we're going to have to take some sort of action. Put some effort in. It's the planet of action, aggression. So, like passionately pursuing something and, taking it into our own hands. I'll handle this. It's the planet that rules that. It's also the planet that rules the signs of Aries, which is currently located in Chiron, or where Chiron, rather, is currently located. Chiron, which went retrograded. Chiron, the wounded healer, who went retrograde last week in Aries. And Scorpio, where which is currently in the moon. Or where the moon is currently located. Yeah, why is this placement tripping me up so? So just telling you all the things that may be involved here, all the aspects that may be contributing to however we're feeling about work, which is that we're not really much in the mood for structure, formal work right now. However, we might not have a choice because work is work. And again, it's very important right now that we do the best work that we can, do the best that we can to exhibit whatever it is our job requires of us. But we also may need to give ourselves at least little mini breaks in order to cope. So, the card really fits into the other cards that we've been seeing throughout this reading and the day. But definitely threw me for a loop for a second. Because I'm looking over here and I'm like, I guess, like focused on the Two of Cups, but I know I'm supposed to be talking about the Emperor. That was so funny. Okay, anyway, so now what am I supposed to be talking about? The actual Two of Cups, I think, right? In love and relationship. So this card, again, is about balanced partnerships, real commitment, love, right? All the things that most of us hope for in regard to a relationship, reciprocity, respect, equity. However, again, it doesn't just mean that you can just do or say whatever and the love and or relationship will last. There is effort that we have to put in there is work that we have to put in to maintaining a relationship. It just means that the underlying foundations of the relationship is genuine, it's real, it's solid, or there's a real potential for that. If you're just meeting somebody, you're single and you're meeting somebody, real potential with this person for that kind of relationship. But it doesn't mean that you don't have to do anything about it if you want to have and maintain that kind of relationship. If you're looking for love, it's definitely a signal that it is very likely that, again, real, genuine love is headed your way soon. So sort of like relax, be calm and think positively, because like that sort of anxiety and negative thinking is what causes unnecessary delays and obstruction, energetically for us in any area of our life, not just love. Page of Pentacles in reversed for physical health. this can be about hurting yourself while like playing or doing something fun. Maybe, you know, like that show Sex Sent Me to the ER. It could be something like that. Once my ex-husband broke his toe doing like cartwheels, like flipping through the living room. You know, he was having fun. He broke his toe. He also broke his Achilles tendon playing basketball in the military. You know, I think you get the idea with those kind of things. Try to stay mindful and, you know, in the moment, and you should be fine. For those who, you know, are drinkers or drug users, be careful this week. And I'm not really sure what be careful this week means in that regard. Maybe drinking and driving. We also saw the Chariot. You know, that can be about trouble driving, getting pulled over. So be careful about drinking and driving. I don't think that means if you just had one drink. Again, I think I'm talking to people who are drinkers, partiers, maybe this, at least this week or this, you know, weekend or something. Drug users, be careful. Be careful of like overdosing or something. You're having fun, but you do too much and you end up hurt, right? Or because you're under the influence of something and you're having some sort of fun and you end up in an accident. You end up hurting yourself somehow. Be careful of that. It can be like easy to get carried away or to cause yourself minor injury. I'm not talking about, you know, like anything necessarily horrific with this. It's like minor injury kind of. Just think balance, right? All things in balance. Try not to overdo. And moving on, last but not least, to spiritual health. This card guides us to like go deeper and to look beyond like the surface or appearances, you know, the superficial, and to really get down and into stuff, like coincidences, for example, maybe like investigating them, or thinking more about them. Like, I don't believe in coincidences, period. I'm always like, oh, this is probably tied to this and this is this. Or sometimes I'll get an actual download or clear, you know, vision or picture of what something is. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I know, because, yeah, coincidences aren't a real thing. It's just not, if you ask me. But that's the kind of thing that the card is guiding you to do, like to go deeper, and figuring out like what might spirit be trying to tell me. So this can also be with signs, synchronicities, even like clairaudience. Sometimes we hear music and then sounds and things all the time, but sometimes you may feel sort of struck, like there's something to it. And if you feel like that, there is. All right, so pay more attention. What is the message? What could God, spirit, the universe, whatever it is, fill in the blank yourself, whatever you want to call that, trying to tell you, and make a point to deepen or to begin to deepen, your spiritual practice in whatever way or ways you are drawn to do so this week. And you will realize there is so much more to life than meets the eye, the seeing eye, or the visually seeing eye. And maybe it's time that you were able to see out of your third eye instead, or better see out of your third eye if you already can. And I think on that note, we will pull a couple of these to add to these, and then in the reading there, or the reading portion of the reading, and I'll go on to talk about, for those who want to stick around, what else is going on this week, in the world. Some of the things I mentioned already, like the Hajj and the Feast Day of Mary Magdalene and stuff. Starting with the Five of Cups from the numerology deck. Joining that, we have pride. So maybe that is why we are, again, not being appreciative of all we have, not seeing the bigger picture, not being, thankful for what is going good in our life or what we are happy about. We're just focused on the three cups that spilled. So something having to do with pride, try to work on releasing that if you think that may be you. Joining the Wheel of Fortune and surrounding energy. We have double sevens. Didn't I just talk about double sevens? I was talking about Mary's feast day. I said it's on 7/16. That's 7/7. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it joins. Sevens are also lucky numbers, like in terms of hitting a jackpot, and it's joining the Wheel of Fortune. So surrounding energy, again, I think there's an uptick. It's a positive, a sudden positive change. Maybe in a household situation, a family situation, or, you know, and somehow we, I think, are impacted. Somebody close to us is suddenly sitting on top of the world, you know, or in some context, you know, sort of sitting on top of the world in comparison to from where they were. Moving on to work and finance, the Emperor. We have Major Arcana card 16, Rebirth. So again, maybe reinventing yourself as something else. Starting some new work or job for yourself. Or plan to do so. Joining the Two of Cups in love and relationship. We have another 2, and it's patience. Don't rush this relationship. Don't push it. Don't make it try to go faster than it is slated, expected to go. Take it slow, and maybe specifically with regard to intimacy, taking it slow. And I say that because the card is orange, both on the outer, the exterior of the card, or, you know, the boundary, and the Merkaba in the center are both orange, and orange is representative of the sacral chakra. So intimacy. Physical health and the Page of Pentacles. We have karmic completion. So an end to some sort of cycle, maybe. Maybe somebody will decide to cease to drink or to use drugs because of a mistake that they make, or near miss, right? That they could have, a near accident that they could have had. And maybe that's enough to say, you know what, I put this down now. I'm not doing this anymore. And last but not least, joining the Nine of Cups in spirituality, we have individuality. So again, working on your individual spiritual practices, increasing them. And again, this is another 2. So more balance, more partnership, ultimately, possibly, you know, relationship. Maybe that's why you're working on your own spiritual self as an individual, because there's going to be some sort of spiritual partnership, which is one of the die with which we started in the beginning. 29, spiritual partnership. Yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed the reading. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. I do appreciate it, and apparently need it, the way that YouTube's algorithm works. Now, to turn on my computer, like we do every week. It should be a little bit faster this week. Let's see, because I got new internet. I can't tell yet, but we'll see in a moment. So going to first the Christian calendar. Again, we have a feast day on Thursday, July 22nd is the feast day of Saint Mary Magdalene. And for a little bit more about that, I have gone to where? www.franciscanmedia.org. Saint Mary Magdalene's story. Except for the mother of Jesus, few women are more honored in the Bible than Mary Magdalene. Yet she could well be the patron saint of the slandered. And maybe this is where the Five of Swords comes in. Remember I said the Five of Swords can be about gossip and, yeah, stuff like slander and stuff. Since there has been a persistent legend in the church that she is the unnamed sinful woman who anointed the feet of Jesus in Luke 7:36 through 50. Most scripture scholars today point out that there is no scriptural basis for confusing the two women. Mary Magdalene, that is, of Magdala, who was one of the women with whom Christ cast out 7 demons in Luke 8:2, an indication that at the worst of extreme demonic possession or possibly severe illness. Writing in the New Catholic Commentary, Father Wilfred J. Harrington, OP, says that 7 demons does not mean that Mary had lived an immoral life. a conclusion reached only by means of mistaken identification with the anonymous woman of Luke of 736. In the Jerome Bible commentary, Father Edward Malley agrees that she is not the same as the sinner of Luke 737, despite the later Western romantic tradition about her. I personally don't care if she is the woman that was a sinner. If you do read the Bible and the older books and stuff, there's like 5 or 6 women who are actually directly related to Jesus, like his cousin, his aunt, and all these that were, described as prostitutes. So it's whatever, if you ask me. She was whatever she was, either a pure woman that they want to paint her as now, or what we call a pure woman, or what we call a loose woman, as she has been described, and who gives a shit, as far as I'm concerned. I still believe she was the number 1 apostle ahead of Peter, but that's again my, as I'll say, information-based opinion on the books that were removed from the Bible. But anyway, moving on. Mary Magdalene, this is back to what Franciscan media has to say about her. Mary Magdalene was one of the many, quote, who were assisting them, Jesus and the 12, out of their means, end quote. She was one of those who stood by the cross of Jesus with his mother, and of all the official witnesses who might have been chosen for the first awareness of the resurrection, she was the one to whom that privilege was given. She is known as the apostle to the apostles. Now, I didn't know she was known as that, but I've been saying since I was a little girl that I felt like she was number 1. And that's when I learned about the lost books. But anyway, Mary Magdalene has been a victim of mistaken identity for almost 20 centuries, according to this. Yet she would no doubt insist that it makes no difference. I insist the same. We are all sinners in need of the saving power of God, whether our sins have been lurid or not. More importantly, we are all unofficial witnesses of the resurrection. St. Mary Magdalene is the patron saint of penitence, so people making a penance, people looking for forgiveness, and also perfumers, it says, whatever that means. I'm not sure what perfumers mean. People who use perfume, people who make perfume, I don't know. But moving on to the Hajj, which is today and ends on the 22nd, Mary Magdalene's feast day. Isn't that interesting? You think it's a coincidence? Of course, the Hajj is something that moves around the calendar. It's not the same date every year, but this year that I said, I think, Lilith got sort of stomped by the, other energies. The Hajj is today, and it ends on Thursday, the 22nd. The Hajj is an annual Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca in Saudi Arabia, which is the holiest city for Muslims. The Hajj is a mandatory religious duty for all Muslims. All Muslims must, at some point in their life, before they die, carry this out at least once in their lifetime. They must make the Hajj, which is they must make the pilgrimage to Mecca. Normally, between like 2 and 3 million people will do this per year. But like last year in 2020, they had a limit of 10,000. I'm not really sure, honestly, what they're doing this year. Moving on to the Hebrew or Jewish calendar. Tomorrow, or beginning today, so another coincidence, beginning today, we have this afternoon at sundown. That's the way the Hebrew holidays or feast days work. They start at sundown the day before. So today, the 17th is sundown. Tisha B'Av will begin. It's a major fast, and it's like the saddest day on the Jewish calendar. So I'd say the years that these atrocities occurred, Lilith probably prevailed those years. But again, this year, no. So we're happier. But let me tell you what Shabbat.org has to say about Tisha B'Av and the 3 weeks. Tisha B'Av, or the 9th day of the month of Av, is the saddest day on the Jewish calendar on which we fast, deprive ourselves, and pray. It is the culmination of the 3 weeks, a period of time during which we mark the destruction of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. In the year 1313, which is also the year, by the way, that Moses died, 1313 BCE, the spies returned from the Promised Land with frightening reports, and the Israelites balked at the prospect of entering the land. God decreed that they would, and therefore wander in the desert for 40 years. So that was one thing that happened. Both holy temples in Jerusalem were also destroyed on this date. The first temple was burned by the Babylonians in the year 423 BCE, and the second temple fell to the Romans in 70 CE. So 423, before the calendar, and 70 basically AD, what the CD is. And that unleashed a period of suffering from which the nation has never fully recovered. Nation of Israelites, I guess. The Bar Kokhba revolt against the Romans in the year 133 CE ended in defeat, and the Jews of Batar were butchered on the 9th of Av, and the Temple Mount was plowed 1 year later on the same date. You think these are coincidences? I do not. Again, I don't believe in coincidences, and neither do Jews in this respect, at least. Later on in their history, many more tragedies happened on this day, including the 1290, the year 1290, expulsion of England's Jews, and the 1492 banishment of all Jews from Spain. So countries were always banishing Jews, and that continued into the 1900s, and is in great part how and why Israel, as we know it, was created. It was because none of these other countries after the war wanted to accept the Jews. So a country needed to be made for them. So this goes on to talk about how the 9th of Av is observed. The fast again begins at sundown on the 8th of Av, which would be today, and concludes at nightfall the following day, which would be the 9th of Av, tomorrow night, the last day. This is all delayed by 1 day when the 9th of Av falls on Shabbat, which is the Sabbath. But this, I was going to say this isn't the case, but you know what? Well, no, it falls tomorrow officially. I mean, it starts today. Today is the Sabbath. I'm not really sure. Don't start me to lie. I'm not really sure how they're going to handle that. Because it does start today at sundown. But the Sabbath is this morning? Yeah, so that's a tricky one. I'm not really sure what they're going to do. But at some point, they'll be fasting for, basically 24 hours. At some point, they will begin and end. What else? I think that's it for the Jewish calendar that I wanted to talk about. We talked about the Muslim. Okay, so the planetary calendar now. And as I say that, I'm recalling that last week, when we went over this, we did not talk about Mercury entering Leo. We talked about Mercury entering Cancer. That's where Mercury is. And Mars is the one that's in Leo. And that's for sure. Now I am clear. And I can even confirm, let's see, last week, what day? Yes, it was the 11th. I think that was the first day for which the reading was, Sunday the 11th, that Mercury entered Cancer. Okay. Anyway, this week, our reading begins again on the 18th, and nothing happens on the 18th, but on the 19th, the following day at 2:27 a.m., Vesta enters Libra at 0 degrees, Vesta the asteroid. On July 21st, 2 days later, at 8:37 p.m., Venus, the ruler of the signs of Libra, where Vesta will be, Taurus, and Gemini, enters Virgo. the day after that, July 22nd, which is again the same day that through which Tisha B'Av goes, the same day, no, the Hajj goes, Tisha B'Av goes through the 23rd, I think, or 24th. Same day through which the Hajj goes, and the same day of Mary Magdalene's feast day. At 10:26 a.m., the sun enters Leo. Maybe that's why I'm so focused on Leo, 0 degrees. Then the following day, July 23rd, at 10:37 p.m., we'll have the full moon in Aquarius. And I think that's only one of 2 full moons in Aquarius that we're going to experience in the very near future. This is 1 degree. It enters at 1 degree Aquarius. My moon is in Aquarius, so that should be interesting. And that's the last thing for this week. All right, so let's talk about Vesta in Libra. And for that, I've gone to www.astrology.com. Asteroid Vesta in Libra, rekindling the flame of our desires. Ooh, that sounds exciting. In the early morning hours of July 19th, Vesta, the goddess asteroid of sacred devotion, enters peace-seeking Libra, the second largest asteroid in the asteroid belt and the brightest asteroid visible from Earth. Vesta was discovered in the year 1807, which is 88, and named for the Roman goddess of the hearth. Vesta speaks to our passions, how we tend the flame of inspiration that gives our lives meaning. This might seem like symbolic territory already covered by Mars and Venus, but while Mars placements represent our motivations and will to succeed, and Venus placements denote how we connect to our pleasure principle, Vesta's astrological position by sign and house defines passion relative to service. Making contact with divinity requires a sacrifice. Even if we do not sacrifice something material, interacting with the sacred changes our priorities and our identity by extension. Therefore, our former selves are offered to the pyre as we pursue greater knowledge and growth in our chosen practices, a true sacrifice. Vesta has been transiting Virgo, a sign where it's quite comfortable, since October 22nd of 2020. That's interesting. So it's like 10, 22, 22. Over the past 9 months, committing ourselves to a personal mission has been of paramount importance. Yet, equally important has been our willingness to divest from work or service situations where our contributions are not valued or respected. The symbolism has been made abundantly clear as we continue to negotiate ongoing economic uncertainty amidst a global pandemic. At this juncture, how can we rationalize working for low wages or no benefits, or even commuting to a job site when it is possible to work remotely? As a culture, we find ourselves questioning whether to sacrifice common sense Virgo considerations like wellness and safety for work that fails to align with our ethics. Keeping our creative visions afloat requires that we alter the rules of engagement. This has not been an easy task, demanding that we burn the candle at both ends while trying to stem the rising tide of exhaustion. We have been pushed to our mental and physical limits, and we might now wonder whether our fire even merits continual care and careful protection. To proceed, we must be in the right relationship to our passions. And just at this moment, Vesta makes its ingress into Libra, suggesting that our sacrifices have not been in vain. By taking intelligent precautions and developing protocols, we are in a safer place to connect with others again. Reunion has been the goal all along. Vesta in Libra holds aloft the sacred flame of justice, equality, and accountability. It serves to remind us that what we do has more meaning when we share it with others. At this time, we will increasingly be able to exchange the visions which we have been perfecting for the past 9 months. it's natural that we might compare our progress to our peers at this point, yet we can do so without being competitive or calculating. Be fair with yourself and stay focused. A disciplined approach to synthesizing and sharing our passions will benefit us when Vesta forms a grand trine with Saturn and the moon's north node on August 7th and 8th. Be cautious not to sacrifice your inner peace for others. Approval while Vesta transits harmonious Libra. Instead, concentrate on sacrificing imposter syndrome and the inclination to judge yourself against those who appear to be further along on their path. These feelings may be especially prominent around August 15th, when Vesta clashes with Chiron in Aries. Don't deny your talents or trade your unique vision for flashy distractions or outside validation. I just realized why I also keep thinking of Leo, probably. The Lionsgate. It's around that week. It's around that time when it actually begins. Maybe next week we'll talk about that. And this goes on to talk about, I'll read this part too. How to work with Vesta and Libra. We have spent the greater part of 2 years in isolation, and we may have forgotten what it feels like to belong. Remember that as we re-enter public spaces, we need to mold ourselves to the form that others expect, or we need not to mold ourselves, yes. Part of the cosmic intention of the past year was to connect us so strongly to our purpose that peer pressure and social expectation cannot divert us from our soul's mission. Nevertheless, we need each other in order to grow. We need like minds to share in our excitement, and we need our dissimilar perspectives to keep us thinking critically. Yes, like I was saying a moment ago, I apparently need you guys to share, and comment with excitement, right? Vesta in Libra affords us both, especially once it conjoins Venus on September 3rd. This connection offers communion in the hope that we might stretch the definition of our desires. Finally, September 9th, the square that will happen between Vesta and Pluto, so Scorpio again, reveals the spiritual nature behind our devotional practices. Be willing to let go of rituals that no longer serve a purpose or permit your vision to change shape. While Vesta's in Libra, we may have difficulty making decisive choices, but fighting change will fight the medicine of this square. Making wise elections ultimately promises healing and renewal and a deeper relationship to what inspires us. And again, that was from www.astrology.com. So moving on now to www.tarot.com and Venus in Virgo, devoted, perfectionist, and service-oriented. The transit is from July 21st through August 15th. Love takes a sensible turn while Venus moves into the earthy sign of Virgo on October 2020. Huh? It just said the transit is from July 21st, 2021 through August 15th. So I don't know what that means. But anyway, because Venus represents our relationships and Virgo is the analytical sign that focuses on life's more practical matters, the transit gives us the opportunity to work harder on our partnerships. This is the time of getting down to the nitty-gritty so we can figure out what is working in our relationships and what isn't. Virgo likes to trade in the passion normally associated with Venus to focus on the finer details in life. Virgo is the librarian with a ruler, straight back, tight bun in her hair and studious eyes that is busy perfecting the craft. Virgo doesn't have time or patience for all of Venus's flights of fancy. No, she has work to do. When Venus is in Virgo, we're being urged to become more reserved and discriminating when it comes to matters of our heart. You may begin to feel that if you can't have a perfect love, you'd rather not have any love at all. For those that are coupled, Venus in Virgo is a cosmic opportunity to take a step back and to determine if we're getting what we deserve out of our relationships. If single, this is the time when we'll see red flags that we might normally miss with any love interests. In fact, this transit may have us more in love with work and service than love itself. The downside to this time of going over our relationships with a fine-tooth comb is that we may end up nitpicking our partners more than usual because we find it difficult to let the little things go. It's possible to keep excess criticism under control by having constructive dialogue rather than just pointing out each other's every fault that we see. This is a great time to make necessary adjustments in our relationships so that we can move forward more positively. In fact, your relationship may end up being better off because of Venus in Virgo. All of this relationship analysis doesn't sound very sexy, but despite how it may seem, Venus in Virgo can be passionate. That's because Virgo is an earth sign, and it's all about appreciating food, art, nature, and people. In fact, we appreciate the best of those things because Venus is in Virgo, and that includes what goes on between the sheets. However, we'll all be a little bit more conservative when Venus is in Virgo, so don't expect any quick flings during this transit. It goes on to talk about what it means if you were born with Venus in Virgo, and if you'd like to read that, again, I got it from www.tarot.com. The other stuff that happens, the sun entering Leo, that is what it is. We don't need to talk about that. The full moon in Leo, I'll do a separate reading on. So on that note, we will conclude our weekly general reading. And I hope you enjoyed it. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. I'll be back with love. Namaste.